Hello, good afternoon, targeted individual. My name is Grace Udoh-Williams. I'm one of the targeted individual here in UK. It's nice to see you today. It's nice to be alive today, and I thank God for that. In today's episode, I'll be looking at updating you basically on the letter that I've written to the Prime Minister. We'll come to that. Before I start that, there's something that I haven't done before that I need to do. Today is Sunday. I ask God to forgive me. I haven't been to church for a few, almost going to 3 months now. It's just because the new church that I'm going, they still don't understand what's going on. Not that I don't know if they will ever understand. And it's just that the last Sunday I went, the pastor was kind of talking about people having their own YouTube channel and showing their bosom. I know I haven't shown my bosom to anybody, but I'm talking about what is happening to me. And we need to raise awareness, people's awareness to what's happening, because why this has gone on for so long is because people don't know this is happening. And when one or two people says it, number one, they're being seen as being psychotic or delusional, or being told, that such thing doesn't exist in Britain. That is the illusion that people think, that, being a first class country, that things like this will never happen here. But people don't understand that until it's happening to you. I never thought, if somebody has told me, I never thought, I never would believe. So I do forgive those people that don't believe. It's because you never think Britain would do, some elements in Britain would do anything like this, especially when they've been championing human rights and also talking about other governments that are authoritarian and victimizing their own people. So they are the first to comment. They are the first to, the reporters, especially BBC, they are the first to comment. They are the first to go there, and it's a case of holier than thou. So that's why I am doing this. I haven't gone to church. I will go to church, ask God for forgiveness, because I've never stayed this long without going to church. And for that reason, this is my Bible. This is the Bible. When I was coming here in my 20s, my father didn't give me a lot. He didn't give me much. But what he gave to me was a Holy Bible. And it has been my strength. From my youth, I've always loved to read my Bible, but I haven't been reading Bible lately, which I did give myself, that I need to finish the Bible, but I haven't been able to do that. So I need to kind of settle down and go through my Bible from page to page. This is my Bible. And I'm using this Bible. This Bible is the Word of God that He has inspired our forefathers to write: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the apostles that lived. Every law that's happened, every law in the world is coming from this Bible, and I believe it's coming from the 10 Commandments. And this is the Bible I'm going to hold today. And I'm holding this Bible to swear on my life, on my children's life, that I am not a radicalized Christian. I am not a Muslim. I have nothing to do with terrorism. And if I have, I ask the word of the Lord in this Bible to take my life, to take my children's life, to erase me from the world, to let nobody remember that I existed. But if I haven't, I have not planned to hurt anybody in my life. I have never planned to, I'm not a Muslim. It's not a religion that I have thought of or involved in any capacity. I'm using this Holy Bible. This is the Bible. This is my hand, and I place on this Bible that I have never in my life conspire with myself, with anybody, to hurt, to threaten, to be a national security person, to cause harm to anybody since I've been in this country, even when I was young in my home country. I'm coming here. This is the word of the Lord. Everything that is happening in this world is in this book. And I'm using this book. This is my hand. And I place on this book. And I pledge to God This is your holy book. You give man inspiration to write this, and every law of the world comes out from this book. I'm placing my hand, this is my right hand, in this book. Please, God, if there's any evil in me, if I am a terrorist, if I am a radicalized Christian, if I am a Muslim, if I've ever thought to commit crime that will harm, that will hurt, that will kill people, no matter where it is, I ask you, Lord, raise me from the surface of the earth. Take my life. Let me sleep and not wake up tomorrow. Let everything that the punishment, the greatest punishment happen to me and over my children and over my life. If not, I ask you, Lord, in your infinite mercy, that you should let me prosper. Everything that is done against me in the name of terrorists, in the name of national threat, in the name that people have conspired and have lied, I ask you, Lord, in your holy name, in this holy book, that you should help me and overcome all the powers of my enemy. You should bless me and bless my substance. You should let your light shine upon me, and let those people that have conspired against me, let them go in shame. I ask you, Lord, to give them opportunity to change. But if they don't change, I ask the thunder of the Lord to go after them. In Jesus' holy name, I pray. Amen. This morning, I'm going to be talking about the letter that I've written to the Prime Minister, because I feel I'm not going to sit there and not do anything and let somebody take my life when I know I haven't done anything. I've gone to the police. They are not interested. They are actually part of the gangstalker. When it started, it's the police. I can see, I've seen quite a few of them, and haven't reported. They haven't done anything. I took the case. I made a complaint to the IOPC, and that's when I just in August, or maybe they have been doing it. I wasn't aware. I wasn't feeling the effects, but I knew that from August I started having the effects. In big time, in terms of cuts to my body, in terms of burning sensation, in terms of loss of electromagnetic wave emitting from my next door neighbor across the road, beam into my home, and all the symptoms that you have, pressure on my head, my face, my body. I go to bed. I haven't slept in my room for months or over a year. Excuse me. Because of the pressure, because of there was a day I actually thought I was going to be asphyxiated. It was smelling like chemical, and it was pouring like excuse me, like as if I was sleeping under a shower, or somebody jet spraying me with some liquid. I don't know what it is. I know I've recently done a hair sample where you have a lot of things I haven't heard before. I have arsenic in my body. I have aluminium. I do understand aluminium. I try to cover with a shield with aluminium, so that is understandable. But other things like copper, like tin, like strontium, that all the radioactive, from some reason they happen to be they happen to appear in my blood, appear in my hair sample that was taken on. So it just goes to show what these people are capable of doing, and why they're doing this is still beyond me, because I don't know. It's just about the abuse of power. They've got this knowledge and they're abusing it, and they feel it's the innocent people that they have to use it on to abuse. And this weapon, weapon of war, but why are they using it on women and children? And you see children on YouTube being targeted, having implants in them, and it's still something that I cannot comprehend. I still cannot bring my knowledge into this, because if you put on the telly, you always see charity being set up, Save the Children. They go to Somalia, they go to all these Middle East country where children, Yemen, where children are suffering. They are the first people to get there and begging for people to give them money to save the children, whereas children in the developed country are being targeted by the army, by the people that are meant to protect us with electromagnetic weapon to emit signals and torture, and then we are going to third world to say save the children. It does not make sense to me. I think they say charity should begin at home. I think those people doing the charity is fair enough to bring this into focus, what's happening in third world country in war zone. But I think they also should start here to start looking deeper to see what's going on here, because the same torture is going on here. It's just underreported, and a lot of these people that have been tagged, probably including me, will die from the radioactive radio frequency and electromagnetic wave that we are all experiencing. So they should really start from here, and all those whistleblowers, I think they need to come forward and don't hide. They need to show themselves, because it's about humanity, it's about saving lives, so people need to know what's going on. So I'm just going to show you, this is one of the letters that I've written, that is the head of my, if they could allow you to see it. It seems it's being blocked, something is blocking it. That is the letter. This is one of the letter who I've sent it to. I've sent this letter to Prime Minister, new Prime Minister, I say requesting a parliamentary commission of inquiry into direct energy weapon torture and victimization by National Intelligence Services, the combat team, and then the police, the Met Police. I think they're all into it. That is what I've written. I have to use this opportunity to apologize, because some of the ones that I sent earlier, they kind of come out like this, but I've paid so much money on it. The pages came up like this, a little bit on this side. I did pay so much on it, so I couldn't reprint it because my printer wasn't working at home. By the time I realized it, it was too late to cancel, or I paid quite a lot of money. It's the case that when I tried to print at home, for some reason my printer would not go. I could not fax, I could not print, I could not copy, not because of anything, but I know somebody is jamming the printer, because after that, the next day, suddenly we sat down here and the printer started working. There's nothing we could do. I had to call my son to have a look. I tried myself. I did all the things that I normally would do to make it go. It wasn't going. So I believe somebody was stopping it from going. They didn't want me to print this out. So I had to take it to one of the cafe to print it out. But then I printed a lot of it before realizing that some of those came up in the margin. So this is not my part of mental health. It's just a genuine mistake. So, and also I noticed that when I'm writing, the word seems to be jumping up and down and trying to distort what I've written. So that's why I did not bother to do anything. So I'm sorry to all the, if they're watching, to all the agencies that have sent the letter. It came out like that, not because I did it was intentional. It's just because by the time I realized I have printed a lot, and I was printing it from a shop, and it was costing me a lot of money. So I couldn't reprint them because I couldn't just afford to reprint them. So having said that, I got this idea from Dr. Catherine Horton, that she has also written to the MPs, to the Parliamentary. I think she has written to Human Rights Commission, and she also kind of encouraged people that are being targeted to write this to their parliaments, and that's what I've written. I did send it through special delivery, which was another set of money I didn't have, but I thought it's something that I have to do, because I know probably they have stopped them, the letters, probably they have not allowed the letters to go, but it is written, and I will hope that I will have some at least from my MP, some words. If I don't, then I know that they have stopped the letters. they're in the habit of stopping letters. I do understand that, and many people do say they will stop the letters, and then write the letters by themselves and pretend it was coming from the source. So I will have to follow one or two leads of those ones that I've written. I'll just give you the list of the names of people that I've written. I've sent this letter primarily to Boris Johnson because he's the new Prime Minister and needs to know what's going on. I've also copied Jeremy Corbyn because he's the leader of the opposition parties, Labour Party, so he needs to know what is going on. I've also copied Cressida Doc, that is the chief of Metropolitan Police. I've sent her a copy. If they like, let it go through. If they like, let them not let it go through. I have sent her a copy. I've also sent a copy to Sam Mark, the National Service Advisory. Those are the ones that I think they had the MI5. I'll send them a copy. Maybe I have to actually be specific and put MI5, MI6. I've also sent the Human Rights Office a copy. I don't know if they're going to do anything because it just seems to be muted for all that is happening in this country. But then when it's happening in Thailand, they will be the first to send people down. So I don't know if they're afraid of anybody. I think they shouldn't be afraid. I think they should, the same measure that they give to third world countries, authoritarian authority, they should also be able to voice out their concern if this is happening here, because they seem to be muted for all the reasons that people have written to them. They don't seem to want to do anything. They haven't said anything about this gangstalking or torture with them, and I'm sure they know what's going on in Europe. So there's no point if you're gonna be out there, campaigning for human rights, then you don't have to be partial, or pick up the countries that are third world countries that you can humiliate or bring to the focus without also having to talk with the first class country, because there's also a level of abuses there. And I've also written to the joint, I've also sent a copy to Joint Committee on Human Rights. I don't know what they do, but I also thought they need to know. I'm sure they're aware of what's going on. But again, this is another organization. They're meant to be human rights. I don't know why they haven't said anything. I don't know why they haven't followed it up, because a lot of people have made complaints. So I don't know, if you're human rights, you're human rights. You speak up. You speak up for humans. Because at the end of the day, it's me today. Tomorrow it could be they might not attack you. Tomorrow it could be your own grandchildren, great-grandchildren, because if this is allowed to go on, eventually it will filter down, eventually. So nobody is going to escape. So I don't know why people are not raising awareness. People, authority that knows about this, but they're not raising awareness. I've also sent a copy of this letter to the Most Reverend, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby. His Highness, I've sent him. I'm not sure he's aware of what's going on. I have done this so that he can be aware that this sort of a thing happens in Britain. Maybe they voice the word of, kind of in support and in terms of stopping this abuse. I have sent him a copy, and also because I'm a Christian and I believe in, alerting, the head of the church in Britain. And I don't know where I can see the assembly of Christian churches. If I could, I will have to send them, because most of the gang stalkers, and probably especially in my own experience, are people that go to church on Sunday. They are not Muslims. They are Christians that have, especially the black ones. They are people that will go on Sunday, will go on fasting, will go and pray. Then when they come out, because they're earning easy money, then they take up their phone and have fun on the phone, cutting and causing pain and causing anguish and cursing. No matter what anybody has done, it's not their position to do that. They are not. This country has abolished torture. So those Christians, especially the black Christians from black churches, that are going on the street with their phone and hoping to live their own long life, hoping their children to be protected, but they're earning easy money. For them, it's easy money. And some of them, probably they've been promised stay or whatever. I don't know what they're promising, but then they're Christians and they will go to church and then pray and ask God, protect me and my family, give me to eat. But then while you leave the church, you pick up your phone and direct and target another human being, causing pain, and then you earn money from it, and you think God is mocked. He's not mocked. He sees everything. He's giving you a chance to change. Having said that, I have also copied and CC the Barbados High Commissioner. The reason is because my husband is an old man. I married an old man. He looks good for his age. He's also been targeted. This man is 86 years old. This man used to be in, before he came to this country, he was in special force, police force in Barbados before he came here. And when he came here, he also was working with BT for a lot of years until he retired. And he's aware of how this thing operates. He has seen a lot of bugs. He has seen it in his line of duty. And he also, being a policeman in special force, he knows how this thing works. So I did say I should send it to the embassy so that they're aware that although we are British, but at least we came from somewhere, so that they know that this thing also is happening to a man, an elderly man of 86 years old. He's been put on voice to call in the attempt in terms of noise, that so that he might not be able to sleep. And he got the thing that really is sad, because he's a strong man, but he's got a pacemaker. Then somebody putting this in his ear so that he can't sleep at night. So he's just trying to push him off the edge to die very quickly. But then when you ask that person, what did this man do? Then they can't come up with an answer. This is exactly what he's done. They can't come up with an answer. They can't come up with evidence, but they are quite happy to earn a living tormenting an 86-year-old. And if it's a foreign government that was doing this in this country, the whole country, like what Russia did, came to this country and put and kill people. Initially, they didn't talk, but then they were putting the faces of these people on the national news and telling us where they come from, how they. But what is happening is the same thing. Is the same thing. Is the same thing. Is you're putting poison in people's body. The aim is either to drive them mad or to kill them. So it's the same thing. You're killing people. So the government is allowing this to happen. But then you go and start telling Russia or telling China, that they're misbehaving, whereas your people, and nobody in the government will say to me that they are not in remotest state, especially those ones in defense, that they don't know what's going on. They do have an idea of going on, but then we are well to shout on Russia, expose Russia, name and shame Russia, whereas it is happening in this country. It is happening in this country. So I have sent a letter, the same letter, a copy of the letter to the commissioner, just to alert him on what is happening, that this man is 86 years old, and they have sent their own neighbors to project noise into his ear to stop him, but then they have not told us what we've done, this needs to happen. So he's been put on the threat list, the threat to the nation at 86. He was here he came here in his 50s. I wasn't born in 50s, I was born in 60s. He came here he's been here probably, maybe he came here in his 60s. He came here, a long time ago. It hasn't been a threat. Then in 86 years old, 85 years old, he became a threat he became a national threat, but then they haven't told him what is done to warrant this threat or to warrant this. He used to be in a police force. This is what Britain of today is like. And I've sent that to the Barbados. So if he doesn't get it, this is the testimony. I've sent it. And the last and not the least, I've sent a copy to Nigerian High Commission, to His Holy Highness, Mr. George. The reason is, originally I come from Nigeria. I need to let him know what's going on, that people are being persecuted. I'm thinking it's not only me, because a neighbor said to me, in the church, when I went to tell them in the church, I was told that a young doctor too had come complaining that he was being targeted, that he was being followed, by the national security. So it seems that they're just identifying Nigerians and targeting Nigerians. And when I told my neighbor, one of my neighbors, she said to me she's also being followed, and also mentioned somebody, a woman that she knows that. So it seems to be a thing of targeting Nigerians, and there seems to be a lot of women that are being targeted. Most of these people are born, everybody in this life are born by women, by women. A woman will give birth. A man has not started giving birth. A woman will give birth. They have their mom, they have their aunties, they have their daughters, and then they are targeting women that are more helpless, that are we're not the weaker link, but then not less aggressive. Those are the ones, the national, the army, military men that are trained to kill people, are targeting housewives, are targeting little young girls on the street, are targeting children, putting implants in their body to study when that will kill them, and then they are born by women, and they say, do unto others what you want others to do unto you. So this is where they are going to get their Victoria Cross or the George Cross, targeting women and young children. And then the perpetrator, that's how God works, because I'm not happy, God forbid, that people decide to go and commit crimes, but then if your attention is moved from who you're meant to be looking out, then you're targeting innocent people, targeting whistleblowers, targeting the crop of the society, the people that look out for the society. You're targeting them. Then what happens? The devil takes over, isn't it? Just a case of what happened in London Bridge. At the same year that I was being targeted and gang stalking, this man that went on to kill people in London Bridge was deemed safe. They said it was safe. The man was being followed then for 6 months, and they deemed him safe. I live in the house of God. I was born a Christian. I will never change. If it will kill me, I will never change my religion for anybody. I will never change it. I will die with Christ. I will never change. So you were targeting me in 2015. From 2015, the same man, I don't know his name, that went on to kill people around London Bridge and the rest of it, was one of those ones that a neighbor, that he was trying to recruit the children in the estate, alerted the police. They followed him and deemed him safe. After 6 months, the same man, whereas my target started same 2015. At 2018 August, I started having electronic attack, torture on my skin. But the man that went on to kill lots of people, went on to make people suffer, he was deemed safe. It just goes to show where it's all gone wrong. It all goes to show. This is show. So you're targeting Nigerians now, and they're using Nigerians to target Nigerians. Those ones are probably very happy, thinking they're doing God's work. You're not doing God's work. You are a terrorist. You're a murderer. You've got blood in your hand. You're being paid to target other innocent people. You won't want that to happen to you or your family. So the fact that a man come and flash his badge in front of you, you don't ask question. So the power that God given to you to ask question, you have relinquished the power and leave it to the hands of people that are now your boss. You have to do what they say. If not, you get targeted and you're being paid. And that's all you are. They're using you. And well, you don't realize how I can help you. So if you think you're earning money, that money, the suffering of those ones that you're targeting will come as annoyance in the presence of God. And God will use that money that they're paying you to put a judgment over your life unless you change. So those ones I've done. I sent them in badges because I didn't have money. They were quite a lot of money. So I'm urging anybody that I think we need to come out of the closet. I'm having a lot of, my targeting has never stopped since the day it started. It has never stopped. And some days it increased. As I'm sitting down, I've had target on my head. Yesterday, I actually saw a man with the phone. So I now realize this is how they do. They make up my EEG of my brain. You put it in the phone. So as I sat in the bus, all I could feel is pulsation on my head. And as soon as I start feeling the pulsation, I knew this heaviness is just there around here. Around here. Sometimes it tracks here. And then my eyes here, you can see the difference here. My eyes here becomes numb here. I think they said this is where they target first, and sometimes it becomes very warm. So this is where they probably target for the V2 voice to score. So they say it goes on the skin in the forehead here and here on the cheek. So here is always very warm, and I feel very numb here. So I feel very numb here. I feel very numb here. My eye here is very numb. So the targeting is always on this side of my brain. A lot of pressure. When I came back from shopping yesterday, I couldn't stand. Sometimes I will have to take painkillers because it's a low-grade headache. No matter what I put on my head, no matter how I move my head, it's something as if something is trying to drag my it kind of drag my brain out. It's just heavy and it follows me up and down. So I don't know if they have put electronic, but I feel they have connected the electronic up into my attic, so the thing is present all the time. It's here. Sometimes I do put a lot of stuff in my head just to try to, because a lady on YouTube said if you put pressure, and sometimes no matter how much pressure I put, I keep having to put a lot of stuff just to put pressure on that part of the brain. It does not help. So I put the tin foil. Probably the tin foil is still what is letting me be alive today. Maybe I won't be alive. And I feel I'm also having a flash on my eye. It comes from this eye, like a light flash in my eye. And I'm thinking they're using my eye to take picture. And I think they have sent the picture. Maybe sometimes I put the tin foil on the aluminum foil on my body to stop the ones that comes like shower on myself or jet spray. And sometimes I put pressure on my head. I just put anything I can on my head just to relieve the pressure there. So I understand that they take picture and then send it to work, and I understand. I believe my workplace now, I've got pictures, and they have my workplace, my occupational health. I think they've got pictures. I think they've got to them to tell them the picture that I've got psychosis, that this is how I look at home. I don't dress I don't put anything on my head. I put my wig because I've got my hair short, and sometimes I use tin foil. So when I put tin foil on my scalp, so I have to put a wig to cover it because I can't be going on the street with tin foil. I've never dressed like this with the tin foil to street. I just dress normal like any normal human being, and it's only when I'm at home people walk naked in their home. But it seems to me that they've taken the picture and sent it to the doctor there because he said for what he's seen. So I don't know how can he see. What has he seen? He hasn't told me what he's seen. But I know the two doctors at the Osleys, the male doctor and the female doctor, I think they are all part of this team. I think probably the male doctor was drafted in late. The female doctor, I've always think she is part of it because a lady, one of the YouTuber called Bella, said when she went to a conference and this woman with foreign accents was being aggressive because she was, well, maybe not aggressive or asking questions. When she said something, she said, well, we don't, kind of counteracting, trying to counteract what she said. I believe it's the same woman. I didn't know her before until when I saw her. When I heard what this young lady said on YouTube, so I think it must be the same lady because, or lady, I won't call her a lady, as I won't go as far as that, because anybody using their NHS job to do harm, the NHS, I used to work with NHS, I work with NHS, say do no harm. You're meant to use your authority or your position to improve people's health. But when you're misdiagnosing people because you're working as parts, you've been bought or you've been bought by the national security. And I think you shouldn't be there, really. A lot of them, I think the psychiatric association, they need to either, step up now because this is banned out of order where people are being misdiagnosed for for illness they haven't had, and there was a pressure from my occupational health for me to go and start treatment, and the doctor was saying I will have to start treatment, and the earlier I started so that it will take me long. And I'm just looking at this man. I said, well, number one, is either you're incompetent or you're corrupt, because if you're not corrupt, you should have said, okay, this lady is bang on about this, let's find out what's going on. He hasn't had time to find out. He has just believed what he's been told by these two corrupt, or either these two doctors at Osleys and Southeast London, either they are corrupt or part of the, or incompetent. That is my own judgment. It's only my opinion. From the assessment they did, I think they should not be allowed to work in NHS. And I repeat it, they should not be allowed to work in NHS, because they're doing the public a disservice. If you go there, somebody hasn't asked you a question, two questions, and then write, oh, psychosis. And my husband is 86 years old, and he was going to bingo until April or May, where the bingo hall in Elephant and Castle closed down. I don't know for what reason they closed down. And he was still doing part-time job, a part-time job that he would need to travel to the job, go and finish the job. And at first I was saying he need to rest, but I thought, oh no, if he's strong enough to do it, let him do it. It gets him out of the house. I don't live with him. And it makes him, his brain is active. Nobody in all these years has ever said there's no confusion, there's no dementia, there's no Alzheimer's. Then suddenly one doctor sitting down in Woolwich said he has also got psychosis, because he said he was being followed too. But he forgets that once they target you, they target members of your family, they target your friend. So this doctor that has got a lot of years in university, and he say he has not well, they will say common sense is not common, but I'm not here to insult anybody. But it amazes me that a whole doctor will not be able to think outside the box. That they said you're meant to look at your patient, a holistic, assessment. This man asked me maybe one or two questions, and they were not related to psychosis. This man did not ask, and meanwhile, while he was talking to me, he did not even maintain an eye contact. He did not maintain. He did not even do MRI scan to find out what was going on in the brain. It was meant to be an independent assessment. And I sat down there, I felt pity for him, because I just said, my husband said, they've got to you. But then he wrote to my employer and said, I said I was going to take it up with the newspaper and everybody's going to hear. But I mean, I haven't gone to the newspaper because the newspaper are muted. They're too afraid to say anything. But if this was happening in third world country, they will be the first to get up and announce what is happening in Philippines, what's happening in everywhere, apart from what's happening in Britain. I think charity begins at home. I think it needs to start here. I think we need to say what it is, and let's confront this, because at the end of it, it will come to affect you too, or your children. So nobody is going to escape this. So the earlier everybody start raising their voice that this is not what we want, and then hopefully they will understand people don't want this. They just want to live in peace. And the people that are really they're meant to be surveillancing, those are the people that they say they are deemed they're safe. There are so many people that have gone to fight in Syria. God knows how many atrocities they've done there. I'm not here to judge anyone, but they have been allowed to come back to this country. And from the news I heard, some of them have disappeared. We don't know where they are. And sometimes these people will go and lay low until a new cause for them to come up and try to justify their action comes up. And then young women that I've seen on the YouTube, children, men, working class people that are meant to hold the economy. We are coming out of Europe to work to pay their taxes so that the economy is buoyant. Those are the ones that the national security, and those are the ones that the combat team are going to put laser vans and radar and try to kill them off, because they are the ones that open their mouth to say, no, you cannot do this. So this is what I've just done. I have written, and I don't know if any one of them are going to reply. I don't know if they have stopped this letter, because I know if they can go into my computer and hack my letters or hack stuff that I've saved and then corrupt the content. So I don't hold any breath, but I have done it. I feel it's my duty to write. And I will apologize when I read, because I just wanted that letter to go. When I calm down to read, I did see some misspellings and things that I should have corrected. I do apologize for that, please. I can't take it back, but I just wanted it to go. I didn't want to prolong it. And that's why I've just sent it. And what I'm saying now. So you I have written this letter, it has gone. I've sent it by special delivery. I'm asking every one of you, please join hand. That's what Dr. Horton said, that we need to write. We need to write these letters and alert people. We need to ask for help. So if I don't see the reply, I have other people I'm going to be writing until somebody answers and try to help, because I can't sit down and let somebody kill me in cold blood when I haven't done anything, just because they have the power and because they have the means, and they want to take my life away from me when God hasn't taken my life or give me cancer. And they've been pointing their direct energy weapon into my groin. I know where that is, where the lymph nodes are, so that I can start having cancer from the limbs. So this is how low they can get, and because I think for them, being a black woman is even worse than worse. Is trying to show she can talk. So again, I think that is one of the reasons. Maybe if I believe anyway, if I ran away, that would have given them ammunition that I'm running away. I haven't run away. I know I haven't done anything. I haven't run away. I could have pack my things and go back to Nigeria. But again, I know they're going to probably on the way, they're going to send people to kill me. I've already hear people saying they're going to send people to come and beat me on the way or beat me there when I haven't done anything. They're beating me here. You can as well beat me up here. So show yourself that you're able to beat me up, and then tell everybody why you're beating me up. So it just goes to show, when people have been misinformed and they haven't seek to know the truth. So this is what happens. They think they have got sent right to carry ammunition and abuse other people when they cannot allow that to happen to their own family, or will wish it to happen to their family. And for you guys that are in charge of this weapon, you're earning a living over human life suffering. The drivers, you know what you're doing, you know what you're carrying. I've seen Jamaicans, I've seen Africans, I've seen it when I go to Iceland. Two of them or three of them, especially the black man there, he parade himself. Sometimes I actually come up looking which aisle I am, so that he can direct the energy weapon. Yeah, I've taken a lot, but here I'm still here, and I know one day there is God of justice. He will get your just desert. Especially you're paid for it, and some of them, that's how they're earning a living, extra money. They're hurting another human being, so that's where you're earning your money. So this is what I've written. Having said that, I've written that, so I'm urging everybody to write, because we have strength in numbers. You have to write until somebody take notice of what's going on and do something about it. You can't just lie down and say, okay, he's gonna kill me, what can I do? Yes, he's going to kill you. That is the more reason you have to get up and say something, that, okay, before I die, this is what's going on. But it's not going to help your children, your grandchildren, if you don't say anything, because lack of not saying anything has made this crime go on for a long time. I am afraid too. I'm afraid for my life. But then at the end of the day, God has given me mouth. He said we have to stand up against powers and principalities. So even if it's going to kill me, but I know that I didn't coward myself. I didn't hide and say, kill me or lie down and kill me. I did say something. I can't fight because you're stronger. But I asked the Lord Jesus Christ, who is greater, who is mightier to fight this battle. And this is what I wanted to share with you this morning. But please, 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 if you haven't got your hair done, get your hair done. I did mine. I find out say so. I need to find out what I need to do to try to detox these dangerous things from my body. And this is again, this is my attack. This is it. It's 24/7. This is the proof of my attack. And this is to those two Oxley doctors. I've not made this up. This is not psychosis. This is the evidence. This shows the attack is constantly. This is it. This is it. This is the radiomagnetic. That is it. It's going on my head. It's going on my face. This is it. This is it. It's 24/7. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is not psychosis. As the two doctors will have me believe, this is not psychosis. This is not coming out from, this is not organic. This is from attacks. This is it. This is it. This is the evidence. And my occupational health doctor, you go try this and see. Those two doctors are hospice. You go try this and see. This is the evidence. So your assessment was bogus and rubbish. This is it. This is it. This is it. Your assessment was rubbish. You did a bogus assessment. And I've been having a lot of, this is it. I'm going to show you. This is my chest. Excuse me. I'm just going to stop for now. Hello, targeted. I'm truly so sorry. That was a scare. It was a fire alarm. It was my cooking. I'm sorry about that. So I've just turned off the cooker. So as I was saying, please write. This is one of my letter, and this is one of my heading. This is it. Please write your own letter. We need to fight these together. And I was gonna show you. This is my chest. I don't know if you can see it. It's not very showy now. I've got a scar here. I've got a scar in this part of my neck. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a picture of it and upload it. This is this week. Last week it was on this side of my chest, like a burnt. I woke up with a burnt mark, and the other week it was under my bosom here, with a cut. This one is a cut. This one on the left top here. On the left top here was a burnt mark. I woke up with this burnt mark on my chest. I should, and this one is around here. Maybe you can see it. I'll take a picture of it and download. That is another cut there. The other time it was a cut under my bosom there. And there are cuts on my leg, and this one, my arm. It's another cut. I just sat down there, all I could feel was this pain, and that was bruising there. Not bruising, it came out with blood, and that is gone. And it seems like once every week I have a cut. I used to wake up with a dart on my right hip that will bleed. For now, that has quieted down a little bit, but now and again I still have it. Like, if I go into the kitchen, I have, a dart there, and it will bleed on my hip, especially on my right hip. They target the left one, but especially on my right hip. Last week I had a lot of when they attack, it's a pressure in my head. Then this thing start pouring on my neck, at the back of my neck. If you can see, this is what I sometimes use to shield. I put something like this. It's got tin foil at the back there and paper here in the front. So this part of the paper will be against my skin, because I don't want the tin foil to be always on my skin. So I put it there, and that's what I use in shielding. Sometimes when I'm going out, I don't put it there. They're attacking me a lot. And it comes here, from here at the back of my neck to my right arm here. There was extensive rash, because this thing will come as if it's rain, then it goes on my back, as if it's acid rain. It comes as if pressure on my head, then I start feeling the heat, then on my back of my head here, my neck, it start pouring like rain. And after that, throughout last week, I had a lot of extensive rash here, and rash is part of is part of the radioactive poisoning. So so I have that, and it seems to target more of my right side than my left side. And they also go for my knee and my legs. For over 2-3 weeks, my legs has been swollen. So now before I go to bed, I have to wear shoes to go to bed too, because sometimes if it's too swollen, I can't wear shoes, my toes, so they are targeting my foot and my leg. So now they are targeting the trunk of my leg, or the foot, because I wear shoes, so the shoes has mediated some of it. But when I still go to bed, I could still feel this thing dropping on me. Even through the tin foil, I could still feel it. I could still feel it. So that's what they're doing. And what they're also doing, they're targeting my groin. And I know the groin has got a lot of lymph nodes there. So that's what I noticed they've been targeting. So I just thought I'd give you that update about what's going on. And you have seen from this meter, EMF meter, field meter, It still hasn't stopped. It's 24/7. That is it. This doesn't tell lies. This the evidence. This is it. 24/7. It hasn't stopped. And I have also taken a retirement. Although I'm in my 50s, I have a lot to give. But I believe that is the only way I can take some control of what is going on, because there was this threat of me being sacked, because the doctors have sent a letter to my occupational health that I've got psychosis, and there was this pressure from the occupational health doctor that I need treatment. And I said to him, he has no idea what's going on, and that I don't need any treatment, that I'm not psychosis, I don't have mental health problem. What I say, what I see, if I didn't see, I didn't say, and I've got evidence. But they are not going with the evidence, they're just going because they wanted me to start having treatment. So there was this pressure, pressure from him. It wasn't, there was a time he was even talking about forced treatment, and I looked at this man and I thought, oh boy, you're a lost soul. So I was meant to be getting independent assessment. But having said that, I'm not just going to go to any psychiatric and have an assessment, because I believe they're all, I don't know, I'm not going to say use the same brush and tarnish everybody. I'm sure there's some good people out there, they are doing their work honestly, and there are some incompetent and corrupt people, they are not doing their work correctly. So I'm not going to place myself in front of a psychiatric who doesn't know what they're doing. So if any one of you know any psychiatric that has a knowledge of electromagnetic wave, please, I like to be contacted, because that is the person that will understand what's going on. And I'm not asking him to, he or her, to have pity on me. I want to lay the evidence that I have, so that they could base the assessment based on evidence, not what the intel I've told them to say. Because as we all know, misdiagnosis or is what they use to cover their track, to deny that, oh, it's all in your head. Whereas I mean, in my own case, they went for the full whammy. So the effect can be seen on my skin, can be seen on my blood, it can be seen all over. So there's no denying it. The effect can be seen on my skin. It's every day. At least once or twice a week, I'll have this cut on my skin, and they're painful because you feel it, and you go to feel the place and you see it bleeding. So it's not coming from inside, it's coming from outside. And like you see, this is this meter will not tell a lie. This is the evidence. So this is part of the evidence, and also got all of this. This is also part of the evidence to show that this thing is coming from outside, it's not from inside. And most times when I'm on the computer, it comes under the table and very high. It comes under the table. Last week, was it last week Sunday? As I was standing in the kitchen, all I could feel as if it was an acid rain pouring up on me in the kitchen. And I went and take my meter and I measured it. It was coming out from next door. I'm in house 26. I'm sandwiched in between two perpetrators. So it was coming up from where I was standing in the kitchen, and I could feel it. So I went and got my meter. It was 28,000 coming up from the wall. And as soon as I start measuring it, it just turned it down. You could see it gradually going down until it was 2 to 3 points. And that's what I got from here. That was coming from Anne and Charlie's house next door. And from this, it's not a gentleman, this man on my right side, that comes in thousands, the other one was 36,000, this one was 208 or 203,000 of the kilowatts or whatever that was coming out from the wall in one go. So it just goes to show I'm sandwiched in between perpetrators, and they're being paid, to do this. And that is what I wanted to share with you today. Please get this done and send a letter to commission. This was started by Dr. Horton She's also on YouTube and sometimes on YouTube now and other channel. You can see what she's written. I use her one as an example for yours. I'm doing yours. I've done mine, which is different from how she's done hers, but I've just done mine based on my own experience. And I'm asking, and then she suggests that you should write to the agencies and call them by name, and ask them to intervene in this because they need to know. We know that this thing is happening and this needs to be stopped. So I will stop there for today. I declare Psalm 91 over your life. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I ask the Lord Jesus Christ in his infinite mercy to continue to guide you, to continue to protect you, to continue to raise your head above the power of the enemy. But please, please, please don't keep short because it will keep going. You need to raise your voice and say something. Even if people don't believe you, you need to raise your voice. You need to continue. God will touch a heart that will be able to listen to you. So I will leave you for today with those. And I ask you to stay positive, stay strong. There's nothing that has a beginning without an end. The Lord Jesus Christ will bring this to an end. And no weapon of war that is fashioned against us will prosper. All those people that are prospering from the targeting we are experiencing, the suffering and pain, they say ill-gotten will never prosper. And that's what I believe in. The money that they're earning, especially those ones, I'm not talking about those ones that don't know that they're doing wrong, because sometimes people might not know. They're giving them the phone, or you're just collecting data. People might not know. But those ones that know that this hurts, this causes pain, this causes suffering, all their effort will never prosper. The money that they are earning, because they know, will stand as a judgment to them unless they change. Because in Jesus Christ, you can't change. But if they don't change, the mercy of the Lord, the grace of the Lord will depart from them and they will be exposed for who they are. So I'm asking you, all targeted individuals, all to stay positive, to stay strong, hold on to your God. That's all we have. And hold on to each other. Please, if anybody knows any psychiatrist that has knowledge of electromagnetic wave, because I have actually taken a retirement, which I shouldn't take. I have a lot of years to go. I have done a lot of studies to make an impact on my patient, but I can't practice now because of what's going on. I had to take a backseat and take control of the situation. And also, I'm expecting my workplace to take this to NIMAC to try to withdraw my license from me, because they have actually written that they don't want me to nurse as a clinician or in capacity of a clinician or non-clinician. So I know that, God forbid, people that have mental health problem, that all sorts of people have a mental and they're still retaining their job. So for him to say that he does not want me to work as a clinician and non-clinician, it just goes to show the bias in his mind. And I don't know what is being shown, but then if you're shown something, you haven't got your own thinking to question. You're just accepting what you're being told to be true. Human beings are corrupt. So that's what they've written, that they don't want me to work in the capacity of a nurse and as non-clinician. So that means in their mind, I have to have treatment. But I know what's happening to me is not organic, it's environmental, and it's not madness. We haven't got any madness in my family. No madness. I'm not saying, I'm not mocking people that have got, it's an illness. If you have it, you have it. But when somebody tries to impose what you haven't got, then that is so bad. So I'm waiting for them to write to NIMAC, then I'll take it from there. But as it is today, please stay positive, stay strong. Don't just lie down and take it. You need to raise your voices. There is Sean Gibbs said to us, there is a non-violent protest on the 29th of August. I'm wishing everybody to try to be there. I know they will try to stop us from going there. You have to try to go if you can, unless you cannot absolutely go, because we need to make our voice heard. We need the public to know what's going on. Today is my day, tomorrow it could be any of the children, grandchildren's day. So we need to say no, we don't want this in our society. And God bless you and keep you till next time. I know in my place, there's some sinister building going on around here. They're digging some places, excuse me, in around 2 blocks of high tower blocks that I've seen. They seem to have moved from where they were before and digging those places. So I don't know if it's a basement. So if I disappear, know that they are responsible. If I'm kidnapped, know that they are responsible. If I'm assassinated, know that they are responsible, because I know, according to what you read, you know that they can, there's no level that is too low for them to go. But then the perpetrators of people that don't want this society just come here for what they can get. They are being allowed to roam the street. They are not being apprehended. I have not seen a terrorist come into this channel and say he's been terrorized or he's been put. I have never seen any of the jihadists come in and said, but they are targeting innocent people, targeting women, mostly women that are defenseless. They're just going there, like just going to feed my family. Then I become a public terror from nowhere, no question asked, nothing. Nobody has questioned me. Nobody has asked me anything in their eye, because there is a reward for every person that they put on this program. But then they are leaving like the hate preacher. I don't think that man has held any work in his life since he came here. It's not for me to judge me, but it just makes me wonder. He hasn't held any job, and he's been paid as it is, released from prison early to roam the street, then until another something come up, and then they start preaching to send people, to commit crime, kill innocent people. But then the people that are meant to protect us are busy around killing innocent people themselves that belongs to this country. Innocent people from the church, people that have got strong faith, people that voice their opinion, say, look, you can't do this, that's what they're going to kill. Then people that just come here for what they can get, they don't care. Those are the people that have been let out. And some of them, they say, oh, they've changed. The Bible says, can a leopard change his spot? That is one thing I want to know. And where were these officers when these people were committing this crime, when they were planning this crime? Some of them were on the watch. Where were these people? Where were these Nigerians that are holding their phone or, targeting me? Where are these people that are recently being commissioned, told? Where are my neighbors that are being told that I'm a threat, that they feel they have obliged to target me? Were they sleeping when these people were planning? Where were they? That's my question. Where were they? Some of them were known to the authority. Where were they? Why didn't they act? Why are they acting on innocent people? Where were these people not apprehended? Where were they not contained? That is my question. Anyway, it's only my question, but at least I thank God for the grace that is giving me to be able to ask that question. So stay positive, stay strong. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High abide under the shadow of the Almighty. He will keep you, he will protect you. All this, there's nothing that has a beginning without end. All this will come to an end in Jesus' blood, in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.